First thing, we have to address the elephant in the room. I am missing a tooth. Okay, so the short story of this is I had a root canal done there a few years ago. I've had to have that root canal done a few different times. And in the end, we decided that we're just going to pull that tooth out and I'm getting a dental implant. Now, I had a retainer that went in there, and so you couldn't tell. But I left that retainer on on a countertop, and my cat stole it. That's the only thing we can think of that could have possibly happened to it, because we have no clue where it is. So I kind of look like a yokel. I'm supposed to get my implant in a few months, but there we go. Now, what are we doing today? Well, this flat earther named Nathan Oakley, who is so goddamn stupid. I normally they don't surprise me, but I just can't believe how dishonest and dumb this guy is. It's just so incredibly sad and pathetic. He really, there's something wrong with him. There are many things wrong with him, and you can see it in just the way he talks and the way he fixates on certain things while violating his own logic and his own rules and his own fallacies or whatever for other things. He did a nearly like 5-hour flat earth live stream thing with all these other dumbasses over here, as you can see, and they went over one of my videos. It takes them like an hour just to go through part of my video because they pause constantly and they complain and they cry like little babies and they say a bunch of nonsense. You'll see we're gonna go through what they actually looked at on my video, and then I'm just going to give my commentary on this train wreck that's happening. So enjoy. This begins in kind of an awkward part. As you can see here, it's 45 seconds into my video titled Debunking a Flat Earther. It took them over an hour to, they only played a few seconds and they spent an hour talking about just stuff that wasn't really exactly related. The first thing I said was talking about how the night sky rotates in 2 different directions. That's going to come up again, so again, this starts in a little bit of an awkward spot, that's why.
Is flat. So there's that. The fact that the sun sets, the fact that you can see
These are just baseless assertions.
It's not a baseless assertion. If the Earth were a sphere and if it were rotating, then a sunset is exactly what you would see. It's not baseless at all. And the idea about Earth being a sphere is not predicated solely on that. I mean, we've been to space. Now, these crazy people don't believe that. And there's plenty of other proofs you can give, which is what I do in the video.
Like the girl yesterday, you never been on a plane? Because the sun sets. What's that mean? Okay, let's just take that at face value.
What does it mean that the sun sets? Again, if the Earth were a rotating sphere, then the sun would be obscured by the horizon as it sets. The sun does not change size. If the Earth were flat, then the sun would be getting away from us and changing in size, and it certainly wouldn't dip below the horizon. There is absolutely nothing that can explain that with the flat Earth model.
Sets. What about them? How do they prove Earth's a sphere? Now, if you're going to say that they're going beyond the geometric physical limitation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as laid down in the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, then we would point you in the direction of the black swan.
So this guy, like a lot of flat earthers, like dipshit, nitwit, witsit, and actually today, an avowed Holocaust denier named Casey Industries or whatever was on Modern Day Debate. They speak condescendingly, they speak very fast, and they say a whole bunch of things. It's a Gish, Gallup, Jordan Peterson type of tactic. None of it makes any sense, and if you actually could walk through everything that they're talking about, you could definitely find that they are guilty of the exact same sort of fallacious reasoning that they're laying out.
Debunk that physical hill that you think is Earth curve at the horizon, getting in the way of stuff. So if it's getting in the way of the sun, then it would be at a physically fixed location as laid down in your maths. We debunked it 4 years ago.
So I have no idea what he's even trying to say, that it would be in a physically fixed location. The sun would. I mean, in the heliocentric model, you can sort of pretend that it is, even though the whole solar system moves. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what they did 4 years ago. I'm not going to go through his old content. Somebody else probably has, but there you go.
No. Even though you're not actually qualifying how horizons and sunsets would prove your sphere-Earth edge, I can do it for you. You just put it out as a baseless assertion.
So you're making a baseless assertion. There. See how easy that is to do? You haven't debunked anything. All your maths, you've never done this. You don't have any studies. You don't have the calculations. I mean, it's so easy to just deny stuff.
Horizon dip angle.
What? Horizon dip angle? Go on, John.
I don't know what they think they've got me on here, but let's check. What I'm talking about is if you look at the horizon, the dip angle shows that it's clearly below you. Now, even if Earth was flat, it would technically have to be below you because the ground extends flat, and then your observer height, I mean, even if you're just standing at sea level, you're above it. But if the horizon is whatever it is, 3 miles away or a little bit more than that, then you can calculate what that angle would be. And on a flat Earth, that angle would be far more shallow than it actually is observed in reality.
Right. Sunset is a rhetorical device to describe the elevation angle change.
A sunset is a rhetorical device used to describe an angle change.
To the horizon of the sun. And a dip angle requires eye level to be a horizontal plane running parallel with surface level.
Yeah, a dip correction requires surface level to be level, eye level to be level, and a differential between the two. It's also the derivation for an R value when taking said surface level and said eye level, both level, not comporting to the shape of the sphere, having no part higher or lower than the other in there, begging the question proof of mathematical perspective, hijacking Earth curve maths.
Do you see just the word salad that they're doing here? I'm not a surveyor. I can't give you a lot about this, but I do know that, you know, in airplanes they have the digital heads up sort of display, and it shows like where the, like straight out from them, where the horizon would be, and then it shows, and then you can just look at where is the actual horizon on the Earth, and you can always see that it's below it. So there are technologies that do this. So whatever they're saying in here, the way they've fudged the math and the numbers and the specifics and the way you do the observation, it's like as if somebody else who isn't smarter than not only these morons, because a potato qualifies for that, but much smarter than me. Like the idea that other people haven't figured this out and that these guys are sitting here uncovering a plot that literally the entire world is behind with their god-awful like PowerPoint presentations that they do during these coked up live streams. The hubris of that, you don't really need to say anything about it. It's on display. You can see it here. It is kind of hard to put into words, but it's very obvious just how sad it is.
Differential is your dip correction. You absolutely unequivocally require, and it proves Earth is flat. Is he going to tell you how, like we just did? Or is it just going to be another baseless assertion that dip correction proves the sphere? No, it proves Earth's flat because it's a differential between eye level, having no part higher or lower than the other, and surface level, having no part higher or lower than the other.
Okay, so I actually have something here. This guy did a really excellent job. So it's JMac. He doesn't have very many subscribers, but he has this really cool video where he proves that the things that are far away from you are lower in elevation than you are. So I'm not going to play the audio. I'm not going to play very much of this video, but he has, I think they call these, well, I don't remember what they're called. It's not bubble level because that's, you know, the bar with the bubble in it. But, you know, you take water and it always equalizes no matter, even if you have different sized like columns of water, they will always, because of like gravity or whatever, be level. So you set two of them up, you space them out, and then if you line them up, you are looking straight level. You are looking at a tangent, basically. You have a tangent line exactly perpendicular from where you are. Now, the basics of what's going on here is he's on a mountain that is around 5,200 meters tall, and he's looking at a mountain that is around 5,700 or I think it's feet tall. I don't know if I said meters or feet, but you can and he goes over, he has all the GPS data, Google Maps, and all that good stuff. So this is extremely well done, and you can see that it's lower, right? So this unequivocally proves that something of a known elevation at a distance is this thing is actually higher than his observer height, and it's below him. This can't happen if the Earth is flat, okay? So all the fancy mumbo jumbo and the rigmarole, whatever they're going to say, is irrelevant because an argument isn't evidence. This is evidence. And a fudged mathematical model is not evidence either. This is evidence. So these idiots are done when it comes to this point, but we'll see what else they have to say.
Differential between those geometric principles of level, both of them, will give you the dip correction. Correction to what, you may ask? Well, surface level. That's what you're correcting to. Am I going to get it in the ear because it's not correcting to it, it's correcting from it.
So again, a lot of the stuff that they're pretending to know something about, I don't really know the specifics. If you know a lot about this, please leave a very long comment, some paragraphs. That would be a great help, and I would love to learn more.
It's correcting to generate a parallel to it.
That's far more specific than I was, but I'm glad you're here to correct me.
I mean, I don't want to just pile on one thing after the other, so.
Yeah, we call that scattergunning. You're not qualifying any of your claims.
So this is very dumb. The person, I don't remember exactly, but they either said, why do you think Earth is flat? Or I was just giving a list of reasons. I start off this way a lot with my discussions, and then I say, well, we can talk about any of those that you want to, for example. So I'm not gish galloping. I don't know what he said. I'm not, what do you call that? When you just pile on stuff. Not like bulldozing or whatever. I can't remember. There's a word for it. But I'm not doing that. And again, we have only watched, this started at 45 seconds. We're at 59 now. So we've only watched 14 seconds of me talking. And they have already complained for, the video's been going for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So the they pause it at these strategic locations and then complain that I'm doing X, Y, or Z when I've only been talking for a few seconds at a time.
Piling one after the other isn't making anything more than a string of baseless assertions.
What do you think?
Yeah, sure. I think the horizon...
I think you haven't made any positive claims or backed them with anything so far. You've just given me a list.
Neither have you.
Is this the start of your list? Is page 3 going to cover evolution in all the details of how it's proven?
I would love to talk to this idiot about evolution, and it is proven. Again, he can do all this this word salad stuff behind like observations and lines and measurements and whatever. And I don't know enough to point out the specific errors in what he's talking about. Again, I don't need to because we have the physical evidence, but with evolution, I would love to. Nathan, let's do it sometime.
Is page 4 going to be the Big Bang? What is this?
And dip angle is just another word or another phrase for a vanishing point.
Why is he contesting this? The flat earther doesn't need to challenge anything. Nothing's been presented.
Okay, so the idea that a dip angle is a vanishing point, that's really just unbelievably stupid. If I actually had a conversation with a flat earther last night, or two nights ago, if the Earth were flat, so here's an example of an argument people use against flat earthers that isn't a good argument. They say, how come I can't see Mount Everest? Okay, we all know that the atmosphere like blurs and obscures light. So even if Earth were flat, you can't expect to, like from the top of the Empire State Building, to be able to look east and see Mount Everest, right? But what that means is that on clear days, there shouldn't be a horizon. That's exactly what should happen. If you've ever been to the ocean or a large enough body of water, on clear days, that horizon is a very sharp line. In fact, let's just look up horizon. If the Earth were flat, this is not what you would see. What you would see is instead that would just fade away into obscurity. Instead, what you're seeing is the top of the curve. Like if you're standing at the front or whatever, the end of a bridge that has a hump, you can't see the other side. You can, because it's covered up by the hump on the bridge. The hump of the earth, that's kind of a weird thing to say, is what the horizon is. So the whole thing about vanishing point, I literally cannot believe that these idiots say that, because the sun doesn't do this and then just goes so far away that it vanishes. The sun does this without getting smaller. That makes zero sense. There's no flat earth model for that. You just have to make up some magical explanation for how the light on the bottom parts of the sun is getting bent in a way that it doesn't get to us. A lot of people say the vanishing point thing too. Casey, the Holocaust denier, that idiot said, I heard him say today that the sun just simply gets so far away that it vanishes. That would mean that the sun is getting smaller and disappearing. Now, it doesn't do that, but what's even stupider is they all think the stars are farther away, but they think those stars are little points of light. So the stars that are smaller and farther away we can see at night, but not the sun, which is bigger and always closer. Just so stupid.
There's evidence yet. I don't get it.
This is a very unflattering
because
you just need to,
image
as a
of
flat
me
earther,
paused.
respond, what of them all? Go ahead, make your claims. Go on, make your claims evolution is true. That's a heading. Not a proven claim, it's a heading.
It is a proven claim. It's a heading because it literally is written right there, but it's a proven claim, but we're not talking about evolution.
Baseless assertion at best.
Baseless assertion at best. What do these idiots think that science is? We have scientific ideas, we have scientific theories, and things that are not proven are not considered that. They may just be alternative explanations. They may just be baseless conspiracy theories. Or they may be hypotheses that are not tested. I don't know what they're possibly even trying to say.
Sorry. He's piling on with rhetoric. That's all he's doing.
I can string a baseless assertion.
Having in the middle making the statement that faith is useless, he starts by making his statements of faith.
Oh, what a fucking moron. No, science is never faith. And also, believing in scientific ideas is not faith either, because we have good reason to believe them.
None of these are substantiable. None of them can you probably even define as to what, like I said, with regards to the evolution, Big Bang. These are his statements of faith. And then to say, well, faith is useless.
Yeah, especially with Big Bang. This comes directly from a priest, Lemaitre.
We're not even talking about flat Earth now. The Big Bang, it didn't come... Yeah, Lemaitre was a priest, but it didn't... To say it came from a priest is like to say that one day he got on Twitter and just said the Big Bang is true. No, Lemaitre was also an astrophysicist. Or, well, he was a physicist. He was an astronomer. I don't know specifically. But he discovered the Big Bang by doing science.
It's purely faith-based, Big Bang. Yeah. Faith? What?
The galaxies are redshifted. They don't think space even exists, but I mean, it's just like for them to say that, I think it's going to sound kind of like, but that's a completely unfair argument because you just deny all of the evidence. Whatever.
Faith is useless. Well, what have you got Big Bang up there for?
The vanishing point would be above. Excuse me. If there was a. So, how do we do this?
It's trying to stumble around if there was a vanishing point. There is no vanishing point, and you're begging the question proof of nothing. Perspective hijacking Earth curve maths. There is no vanishing point in those maths. You've already.
What are they talking about? There would be a vanishing point if Earth were flat, and there isn't. So it's round?
Made an assertion that horizons and suns going over them are going to prove your rhetoric. How are you going to do that when you've got a perspective omitting mathematics to do it with? You can't. Why are you talking about vanishing points?
Oh, this is painful.
Vanishing point, horizon. Vanishing point above horizon. So if the
Vanishing point above horizon? Why is he doing this? Your claim is it's...
Okay, so I know what I'm looking for. I've seen many photographs. Here, I'll find one. We'll cut this out in the edit So this is the thing I was looking for. These aren't the greatest pictures. The ones I've seen do it like on cities like New York here, but they look a little more clear. But yeah, when you do this actual 2-point perspective, what you find is the horizon is always below the actual where that actual vanishing point would be. And that's just like that guy's YouTube thing that we saw, kind of, where like the tangent line, the level that is perpendicular to where you are, the horizon is always below that. So I don't remember if I actually get to it here and what the response is going to be. I'm guessing that they're just going to dodge it.
Obstacle hill getting in the way, mate.
Horizon actually was a vanishing point. Then the vanishing.
Hold on. We gotta go backwards because I didn't hear what he said.
Points.
Vanishing point, horizon. Vanishing point above horizon. So if the
Vanishing point above horizon? Why is he doing this? Your claim is it's a physical hill getting in the way, mate.
Yeah, a physical hill. Calling the curvature of the Earth a physical hill, I don't know what that means. But no, the horizon doesn't get in the way of the vanishing point. That's completely backwards. That would... So, moron.
Horizon actually was a vanishing point. Then the vanishing point would be the horizon. But none of these pictures are going to give
They're going to help you with it not being a vanishing point. No, they're not, because they're all describing vanishing points, which is what it is.
Yeah, so that was a non-answer to what I'm talking about.
Is he now researching his objection on the fly?
Yes.
Now,
I'm looking for a picture to show this person.
like, ouch. To the
But
point
they don't
These guys are so goofy.
he's got an objection to the term that the horizon is the vanishing point. That's now a revelation to him.
The horizon is not a vanishing point, so...
Yeah, and that's not a shock that it's a revelation to him, because in his mind, there is no perspective. He stumbled and fumbled his way around that, didn't he? The reason he stumbled and fumbled his way around it is because in his mind, the world of globe Earth has no perspective. It takes place in an orthographic view. Yeah?
Yeah, I have no idea what he's talking about. And maybe he doesn't know what I'm talking about. I already laid it out, so I'm not going to say more, but he's just not representing me at all. Not
So what he's got on
accurately.
screen is a load of vanishing points. Now bring up Earth curve mathematics and look at what you get. You get the side of your own head and the side of the target at the same time. There's no perspective in that. So in that...
I have no clue what he could possibly be talking about here. I hear some flat earthers, they talk about like the reason the Earth looks the way it does is because we have curved vision, because our retina is curved. And it's like, no, the photographs that we take and cameras have flat, I don't know what you call that, whatever the thing that collects the photons is. But that's flat, and the pictures look the same as when we just look at them. So that's...
And they're like, perspective doesn't exist in our maths, therefore I can charge a flat earther.
Who
with being
says
able to see New York
perspective
from
doesn't
Ireland.
exist?
Why? Well, because there's no perspective in the world that I exist in. There's only Earth curve getting in the way to stop you seeing things. Not
What? I have no clue what there's no perspective if Earth is a globe could possibly mean.
So this, what vanishing point? What a revelation! You can't believe the look at his face.
have it. It's all being.
What's wrong with
shrouded.
my face?
Anything that we want to search that's gonna validate either one side of the argument is not there anymore. Google's done away with that. They don't want anything to do with this conversation.
Right.
So we don't have to exercise the SEO of Google anymore.
Might have been true pre-2024, mate. No, we're taking a very different tact. As much as this might be pretty good, I'm not going to criticise it too heavily, because you're right. But if you're looking for an agreement from your opponent, and there's various different aspects, well, all of them, that require a flat plane to claim, then I would be affirming that Google would agree with you. I just look up how Earth is measured flat on Google, and it will tell you how Earth is measured flat, because it is.
He can't do that right now. He can't do that right now, because what he's trying to do is look or Google how the vanishing point he just said is a vanishing point is not a vanishing point. So
He searched
can't
for
do that.
vanishing point above the horizon, because he wants perspective and an Earth curve edge, and he wants to find that and won't. So no.
Yeah, literally no idea what this could possibly mean. We can't have perspective, and the Earth can't be a sphere, or can be a sphere at the same time. No idea. This is just their way of not dealing with the claim or with the evidence, because this clearly proves that the horizon is dipping away from you, and they're just not going to reconcile with it.
Okay, I'm going to do this on the fly. Because the horizon's just Earth curve. Well, yeah, it is in your rhetoric. In reality, we have perspective, so when you search for perspective, it's going to show you perspective. It's never going to show you an orthographic Earth curve view.
Another reference, you said we wouldn't go to the space, but as far as perspective. So when it comes to
Google Flat
perspective,
Earth Society and
If I interrupt you before you get to the end of your question with what I'm searching on the fly, there's a good chance that you won't be hammering my ass to the ground.
Flat Earth Society is...
Yeah, I'm real scared of this moron. I'm not scared of you either, Nathan. I will say, I probably would never speak to Nathan on his own terms, because he's got a ton of people that are in here, and he just, like, he accuses me of interrupting, but that's because I'm talking to an idiot that says things that are false. He just steamrolls and just says a bunch of mean, nasty, stupid stuff and gish gallops. So, yeah, his complaint here is just he's doing the exact same thing. I would talk to Nathan on my own terms so that he couldn't get away with his bullshit, but anyways.
First thing that popped up.
That's fascinating. Why would you interrupt him when you're having a discussion about perspective? Well, because you sense that the end is nigh.
No, because he said that Google gatekeeps information, and I was proving that claim wrong. See, the thing is, you idiots say so many things at the same time, right? And so I just pick one thing, and then while you're rambling about the next thing, I steer us back to where we were, and then you're interrupting. Pathetic.
Therefore, best interrupt him before he gets through that
Pathetic
sentence.
little crybaby.
Is this the echo chamber that we get accused of being? Is he Is he muting him? You're in the middle of a discussion about perspective, and you're telling him that the first search is Flat Earth Society. That's fascinating. Why are you doing searches on the fly? Why are you interrupting him? Do your search in your rude way where you're clearly not listening to him. And don't decide that whatever he's got...
What a crybaby.
...is totally irrelevant because you're not listening, so you can talk at any point that you've done a Google search. How rude. These people are just pricks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna... If he hasn't already just been so incredibly rude about me or whatever... you'll see more of that. So, yeah, pot meat Kevin.
So the idea that Google is like censoring...
Yeah, I was in the middle of a conversation with you about perspective.
The Flat Earth Society...
No, he wasn't. He
is not empirically supported. Anyways, what about space?
What about I scattergun you off the subject of perspective and we ignore that because I just interrupted it because I wasn't listening to you? What about a completely one-sided conversation where you don't acknowledge a single thing the person's saying to you because you've interrupted them halfway through because you're in the middle of a Google search while you're having a conversation? You're just rude.
This is just such crybaby behavior.
I didn't say it was empirically one. I didn't
That's
say
also a
bias. I
tactic.
said
My friend used to call it the shark
They have so many, like, memes and slides for everything. It's hilarious.
shiny object, and if he was about to be caught in a lie, he would hold up something shiny or sharp and say, "What is this?" and then change the subject. So there's two subject changes happening and getting you off the topic you're about to lose.
You guys are the ones that steamroll and say a billion different things all at once.
What about Flat Earth Society? Let's move on to space. So we're moving on to space from the Flat Earth Society, not moving...
I proved my point, and so we moved on to the next thing.
Space from perspective, though. I just did a quick Google search and had a revelation that the vanishing point is the horizon. Shocking that it's not...
The vanishing point is not the horizon.
...represented as an orthographic...
It's above it.
Also,
we're not
a
gonna
false
find it.
statement.
Go on.
And he says, and he's only clicked the link, as far as I can see, the Flat Earth Society contains no empiricism. All right? It's a completely false statement. That's about all it does contain. It's a bit of empiricism, a bit of observation from reality.
I don't know what they're talking about here. Funny enough, a lot of flat earthers I've talked to hate the Flat Earth Society. They think they're fake. They think they're out there to make them look dumb. They think that movie or documentary or whatever where at the end they prove that Earth is curved and then it cuts out. They think that was a psyop, basically.
But he's now trying to poison the well with a statement that he doesn't clearly understand. This is the height of Dunning-Kruger. Yeah.
Oh, I've done a Google search. It's Flat Earth Society, and they're wrong. That's the end of this discussion about perspective.
That's not at all what that
Because it's got no
was.
empiricism.
Yep.
Sorry.
Moving on. Yeah. Prick.
For support
Prick.
of either side of this conversation. I'm very clear on what I say, and I know what I've said. So any attempt to twist it
I can't tell if I'm chewing my nails or chewing on my mustache. I do both.
will just be your own delusion. But anyways, I know what I said. I said both sides of the argument won't be supported by Google. However, I will digress. When it comes to the observation of the rotation of stars from a different point of a hemisphere, you can still...
Will he get it wrong like Planet Peterson got it wrong? Place your bets now.
have a semicircle, you know, and even the flat Earth is a sphere. I mean, think about it.
No,
you
it's
have a
half
flat
sphere.
He hasn't made his example yet, Mr. Peterson.
What? Well, he's wrong. The flat Earth isn't a sphere.
Okay, I'm sorry. You interrupted. I wasn't done. But anyways, it's a sphere because...
No, it's half of a sphere.
That's the second interruption, Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, and it's the second time he was wrong.
Prick.
I'm sorry. It still did not make my point. I mean, you're very good at just jumping in there, so kudos to you.
Now Peterson will make it about
Cry
the
me a
discussion
river.
and the interruptions themselves. Pound.
However, let's say we got a dinner plate, right? And that's the topographical part of the Earth with the continents and the mountains and everything. All right, it's very curvy, hills and valleys and mountainy. Then you got the waters, which are relatively flat, but they're deep, and that depth goes into like the bottom of a bowl. And then to cap that all off around the supposed ice wall, which is Antarctica. Now,
What ice wall? What?
So I don't remember this conversation like at all. So he's saying Earth is a sphere, but what we live on is the cutoff like center of it, and then everything's below us, and then the dome is above us. What is that like? We'll see where this is
I'll tell you
going.
this, I'm speaking from an
Palm,
objective
wasn't it? And then he ruined it.
Yeah. Beast of nonsense, regurgitation.
standpoint of somebody who's curious, not somebody who's based in fact or solidity
Whoops.
on any ideal.
What, should they perhaps have an open mind? Let's mention flat, by the way. I mean, this notion of...
So I'm gonna pause here. Something like really funny and kind of ironic that a lot of these flat earthers do. You get the ones that say, "I'm not saying it's flat. I'm not saying anything like that, but it's definitely not a sphere." And then the only thing they argue is that it's flat. That is so incredibly dumb. Another thing that you see is, and I think they do this later, they go, "Look, we didn't make any claims. We don't, like, when you show something like, here, I actually worked out the math that shows that you're wrong." And they'll say, "Whoa, I didn't make that claim." It's like, I didn't claim to any mathematics. It's not my model or anything like that. It's like, okay, sure, maybe you are too lazy to do any of the work, but we've done this work that would confirm, like, this is the hypothesis for your idea, and it's false. And when you do that, the only thing they can respond with is, I never said that I would do that, or that's how I think, or whatever.
A plate with a conceptualization.
Or, sorry. So they say, I didn't actually finish my thought. They say, "Oh, I didn't make any claims." Like, no, you are claiming that it's flat, and this is how we can disprove it. And then they'll try to, like, weaselly argue, like, "No, I'm just here to debunk the globe," or whatever, when that's not at all what they're doing. You're trying to affirm that Earth is flat.
An ice wall with the continents. Yeah, we've got flat maps. they're flat for a reason. They're flat.
Paper is flat, therefore so is Earth. Fucking idiot.
So you can use them for navigation. And you're going to be acquiring elevation angle measurements off a flat baseline. That's Earth being navigated flat.
Paper is flat, so is Earth. Stupidest person in the world, 2024.
You don't need any of this conceptualization if you just tell the guy it's measured flat. That's how I start with. Let's cut to the chase here.
I just research them all because I think it's more beneficial for my psyche to entertain all ideas until one is proven.
Gotta have an open mind. No, you just need to tell him it's measured flat. I don't need an open mind for that. Sorry, buddy. Yeah, the new guard's ushering its way in and sort of cutting a few heads off as we go. And now it's unfortunate because this might have flied in other arenas that were called Flat Earth up until 2024.
Flown, not flied.
Now it won't fly. You need to open up with your starting phrase being Earth is measured flat.
What would that have to... Yeah, again, paper is flat, therefore so is Earth. Or maybe they'll talk about like surveyors or whatever, you know, they just kind of... This is the claim anyways. They assume that things are flat. That's because they only measure over like tens or hundreds of meters at a time. And so there's no point in accounting for the curvature on that scale. It would be inappropriate to do so because it's not going to severely affect what you're doing.
Because you believe it's the case. Because you know that's the case.
Proven.
Just a funny aside. Somehow his accent is making him sound even stupider, which is funny because normally a British accent adds like 10 IQ.
Absolute. So I'm not. Anyways, I just said what I'm not. So then, if you got depth where the water sits in some sort of like a bowl shape, and that would be a curved underneath underbelly surface, and then
This has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with the rotation of stars in the night sky.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad you brought us back onto that, Peterson, because you...
Yeah, because he certainly wasn't getting us
go in
there.
opposite directions, you complete idiot. I mean...
Yeah, they do.
So fundamentally stupid when it comes to this subject that you're being...
Yes, you are.
...rated by me a flat earther for it. Because you said that you think they go in opposite directions.
Yep, clockwise is the opposite of counterclockwise.
Someone make a note, 415.
But
what?
That's what I was talking about with the last guy.
Why did he go to the beginning?
Humanity. If you reject that, then that's fine because we don't need that. The fact that the night sky rotates in two completely different directions, depending.
So they're going back so they can address this.
Was it?
Yes.
I'm thinking no, you complete spaz. I think you're in no position to be criticising anybody because you've got a really stupid idea about how the stars work. I suspect you've never even looked at them, let alone been south of the equator to observe them with your own eyes. You're a complete numpty. You think they move in opposite directions, do you, clown shoes?
They do.
You think you need to interrupt him to highlight your own ignorance, do you, clown shoes?
Man,
no!
he's just... He is such a baby.
Point out just how stupid you are for my audience. Please let Planet Peterson know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. And please inform him the stars do not go in opposite directions.
So they do. Clockwise in the northern hemisphere, counterclockwise in the southern hemisphere. I could have that backwards, but whatever it is in the northern hemisphere, which is the best hemisphere, it's the opposite in the southern hemisphere. And not just that, but they rotate around central points. And I talk about this a lot with this guest. I remember this part. And that's not at all possible. Oh, this is funny. Is this from the... No, it's like a flat Earth debunking thing. But yeah, no, this isn't possible if the Earth is flat.
They all go in the same direction.
Clockwise is not the same as counterclockwise.
For everybody, everywhere, with the exception of Polaris.
No, and there isn't a pole star in the south that you can see with the naked eye, at least. But no, it goes around a central point. So I I don't know why he's saying that, but that's clearly not the case. I'm suspecting he's saying that because that wouldn't work if Earth were flat.
You are stupid and have absolutely no right whatsoever to be interrupting this flat earther to highlight
Such a
just how
crybaby.
you are about the stars when you bring it back to that subject, having non sequitured away your way from perspective. And this is a embarrassment, my friend. Please let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me this link to his channel whizzing its way by in the live stream chat right now. There's over 100 people watching. So yeah, let him know. Help him along in the algorithmic love that we...
Oh, wait, he posted the link to my video? Let's check this out. Let's go by sort by newest, because he just did this the other day. Stars don't rotate in opposite direction. Oh, yeah, there we go. The sun rays are never parallel. They're always parallel. This thing about crepuscular rays, I maybe won't get into that, but... oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So this person... This was right before the live stream. This person said, Nathan Oakley asked if I could drop to let you know he made a response video to this. You could drop in and let him know that I don't give a shit. The Earth is measured flat. Sure, maybe like on scales of hundreds of meters it is. Your perpetual use of fallacies was called out by Nathan in his panel. Okay. It's members only. Members only. Okay, yep, I have no idea. So what's okay, who's this person? The spiral offshoots, the entire field of astronomy is messed up big time. Yeah, okay. Well, this person's stupid. Nathan Oakley sent me here. We look forward to your response. Oh, well, I am responding, so you're welcome. Oh, yeah, there actually were a bunch of comments. Well, and by a bunch, I mean just like right here. You're an idiot, Peterson. Okay. Nathan Oakley, yep, is getting corrected. No, he hasn't said one true thing, I don't think. Not one.
Do not receive as flat earthers. And hopefully he'd do the same for us. Maybe put a link out on his TikTok channel, which has got a lot more viewers. We will see.
It's true.
Of stars in the night sky. Nothing
Well,
at
we
all
could
to do
talk
with it.
about that. Yeah, I just got off.
That's what I said, and then you started talking about something else.
Okay, so since I was interrupted,
So if there's a dome here, then the stars are rotating in this direction, and
inside the dome,
nobody in the southern hemisphere could possibly look at the stars and see them rotating in the opposite direction.
Dumbo. They all rise in the east and set in the west.
Yep, that's true. They do, well, except you could argue that, the thing about something moving in a circle is on the top it's moving east to west, but on the bottom it's moving west to east. So I don't think that's particularly like a great counter argument, but his counter arguments are so fucking stupid. So I don't know. I go back and forth. Like, if I were to debate any of these idiots, would I actually debate the way they do? Hyper fixate on something inconsequential like that and be like just a gotcha of the way that they use the words? I don't think I would, but it would be interesting. No, because here's the problem. You couldn't possibly see this happening in the southern hemisphere. Yes, you would see west to east, because if the stars are on this dome somewhere, and the reason they're rotating is because of the motion of that dome, then people in the southern hemisphere would see what people at the equator see, and what the people on the, so this isn't a great picture, but what people on the equator see is, they streak across that way. This picture is that, but they're not looking south, so you'd have to, you can, I think you guys are smart enough to imagine that if you're in the southern hemisphere, it'd be like being on a merry-go-round. Everything would go by you like this. There's no possible way to get a rotation around a central point like what we actually see.
With the exception of Polaris. They do that everywhere.
Nope. Again, southern hemisphere does the exact same thing the northern hemisphere does, but the opposite direction.
Nobody's seen them go in opposite directions. You are stupid.
Counterclockwise is the opposite of
We all
clockwise.
say it together. Planet Peterson.
Planet Peterson.
They don't go in opposite directions.
They don't go in opposite.
You're just
okay.
wrong.
I thought he was going to say you're stupid, so I was going to say you're stupid along with him.
Ignorant of the stars.
Ignorant of the stars. Like... That is so incredibly ironic. We know that the sun is a ball of plasma made of almost entirely hydrogen with some helium. And we know that because of, I don't think I've ever talked to a flat earther about this, but I need to talk to a flat earther about this. And we know that because of spectroscopy data that we've taken. Now, I think I have heard people in the past argue, oh, no, spectroscopy, that's just something you do in a lab. And then when you observe it with the sun, you just assume it's the same thing. It's like, what other option do we possibly have? See, this kind of goes back to the thing earlier. They doubt what we're saying, but they offer nothing at all to be able to give us a reason to think that we are wrong or that they are right. It's so incredibly dumb. It's like, okay, so then what is the sun? I don't know. Then what's your problem with the way we do the science to investigate its composition? We're just assuming. You have to assume everything to some degree. It's just so incredibly dumb. Something else I heard today, which is really good, is, again, Flerfers, they don't know what the sun is or what the stars are. So to call us ignorant is hilarious. But I want to know what they think where they think the heat comes from, because they don't think space exists. And I don't know how I never thought about this. I feel dumb for it. But if, we know that higher temperatures correlate with the presence of the sun. So if the sun is giving us energy in the form of heat, but Earth is in a dome, and space isn't real, then where does that energy go? See, for our model, the sun heats the Earth, but that energy gets radiated back into space. So there's a bouncing point. But this flat Earth dome or whatever is a closed system. So if the sun is outputting energy, then it has to constantly be getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. Now, maybe they'll say, yeah, it escapes the dome or whatever, but I heard somebody bring that up to a flat earther, and they really panicked. They had absolutely nothing to say about it, so they just changed the subject.
Why are you having arguments about the nature of Earth when you don't even know what the stars do? I have no idea what you're doing here, Planet Peterson. You're thick. Very, very stupid.
Not all the stars up here are, and around a central point. That's physically impossible.
It's not, however. So
No,
if you were to take a dinner plate, you place a Lego guy facing the middle on one side of the dinner plate, you place another Lego guy on the other side of the dinner plate facing the middle of the circle, so they're opposite each other across a 180-degree meridian. Now, if they were to both look up, they're not going to see the same rotation.
Yes, they would. They would see the same rotation, but also in this example, they're both looking north. What the reality is, if you're a little bit north of the equator and you look north, you see this. And if you go south of the equator and you look south, you see the same thing in the opposite direction.
It would actually work on a flat plane.
No, it wouldn't.
Does this flat earther understand how the stars work
Tell
either?
them the secret.
Okay, so this is hilarious. They think this flat earther is stupid.
So don't tell them the secret.
I'll give Oakley that. He actually might be smarter than this guy I'm talking to.
And he could replicate this nonsensical story. He's talking about going to the antipole side.
What are these
of a
memes
theoretical
about
ball.
Brian Cox?
All you have to do
What
is
is this?
wherever you are, turn
Why do they do
around. That's the secret.
So what you're suggesting is, by turning around, your perception of... Hold on. Let me just wrap my head around what you've just said. I'm standing looking at cars, and I'm on a roundabout, middle of a roundabout. Do you have those, like a four-way junction that's got a circle in the middle and you drive around the circle? Okay. So there's cars going around this roundabout. And I'm standing on the roundabout looking out at the cars, and the cars are coming from my left and going to my right, because I'm looking at them from the roundabout. Now, as they're doing it, I cross over the road and then turn around, and now they're coming from my right and going to my left.
No, that's not how that would work.
So what you're suggesting is that we should tell Planet Peterson that stuff changes as you move relative to you. It's amazing.
Maybe I misheard, but did he say that if you're in the roundabout looking to the middle, the cars go this way, which would be left to right in my case. If you go to the other side, turn around, they would still be moving from left to right. because when you have clockwise or counterclockwise motion, no matter where you are at, when you look in the middle, they're always going the same direction.
No, he said that they went in opposite directions. The relative aspect of you turning around is beyond this numpty's comprehension. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said they go in opposite directions, would he?
They do.
They don't.
They do.
Exactly.
Literally
They all go in the
clockwise
same
and counterclockwise.
Like cars round a roundabout, they all go round the roundabout in the same direction always without exception. Oh, what's that? If I cross over the road, they go the other way. He didn't say that, though. He's just an idiot. He thinks they go in opposite directions because that's exactly what he said.
Is he talking about me or the other guy? Because this is the other guy's argument. The dinner plate thing. That's how this started out.
Went back and played it.
Which is why they would call it a plane T, a planet, a plane T.
That's not what planet
That's why
means.
the aeroplane, it's a plane, it's an aeroplane, it's a vehicle
Plane
that flies
T.
in the air over top.
So anyways, this is the dome and the stars.
Did he just mute that guy?
Yeah, I mute idiots when they say stupid stuff and they change the subject.
In the middle of his sentence?
I was just going to ask that, but he sounded like he got muted.
It would actually work on a flat plane. Which is why they would call it a plane T, a planet, a plane T.
That's not what planet
That's why
means.
the aeroplane, it's an aeroplane, it's a vehicle that flies in the air over top.
Yeah, now he's talking about air. Oh my god.
Yes, he absolutely did.
Yeah, why would I not mute him for saying that?
Oh, so it's
Again,
Planet Peterson's
crybaby.
mute button when he's found what he needs on Google.
Oh, what a crybaby. He's sitting here in his own intellectual safe space, and complaining that I am not willing to let somebody challenge me. Oh my god.
Calling the guys in the middle of a sentence. Here, I go out of my way to get my opponent to clarify their point. I then reiterate their point to them. Normally I get interrupted while I'm reiterating back to them their point that they have had open air to give me. And once it's clarified that their point has been made, I then set about taking it apart when everybody's clear that the point has been made. Now, while I'm doing that, there's a good chance there'll be interruption and I'll be accused of interrupting them while I'm taking apart their garbage. But in this instance, the guy's halfway through making his claim. Peterson's finished his Google search.
His claim was totally stupid, and these guys don't even agree with what he was saying. It's flat because it's called a planet, which means plain T.
So he just mutes him.
Oh, you crybaby.
So it's Planet Peterson's mute button. This is the kind of guy that claims they won't come in here because I will mute them. And I should go to them. Why?
When did I ever... I never said that during this live stream. Nathan, I wouldn't talk to you on your platform, but that's because you're an idiot and you do this steamrolling nonsense stuff like this, and you'd probably have a panel of a bunch of other people that would constantly interrupt. I've done large panels and I hate them, but this is just very different. Now, to people that know how to think, they understand that, but he's always going to think it's unfair because because he thinks I'm doing this as a strategy to prevent myself from being debunked, but we know that's not what's happening.
But they can mute me. Pure projection.
Preemptive projection, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm not coming on your show. You'll mute me. You need to come to this neutral platform where you'll be muted if I'm in the middle of a Google search and I find what I need and you're in the middle of talking, then you'll be shut down by the neutral platform so I can talk. How dare you invite me to a, non-neutral platform where you'll get the opportunity to make your claim but it'll be torn to shreds? And if you try and interrupt me while I'm doing it, you will be closed down because I'm in the middle of a sentence. Yeah, only seems reasonable, but that's obviously my mute button standard. I'm in the middle of taking apart your garbage and you've just started talking through me because it's very painful. I'll close that line. That's my standard. His standard. What's that? You're in the middle of making a claim. I'm in the middle of a thought and a Google search.
Oh my god, how long is he gonna do this?
Mute. Should we all hear that again so we all know exactly what the mute button looks like when it's being used?
A planet.
Okay, I can't do this anymore right now. So here's the deal. We've gone over 23 minutes of his video, and I've been recording for 57 minutes. This will probably get trimmed a little bit shorter than that. in the post. But I can't. I need a break. I will do the rest of this and then upload that either, I don't know, later this week or really early next week. But he's just been bitching and moaning for so long, and I need to take a break. And, I have other stuff to do today. So we'll call it good for now. Stay tuned.